Today in the crypto space, we see the market getting a bit of a bounce to the upside. Bitcoin at about 97,200 and Ethereum up approximately 2.5%, right around that $3,400 mark. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, getting some green. Look at Cardano, Polkadot, Near Protocol, Caspa, and many others. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator. But more importantly, I want to talk about one project that many people are buzzing about, and that project is called VELODROME. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins. Looking for opportunity, whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. You can see that the market is looking okay today. We got a bit of a bounce, but generally speaking, guys, overall, the market's still in a downtrend in the short term, right? I'm looking at the 4-hour time frame, more or less. Now, if you look at the overall market cap, it's still in the downturn, obviously. We do see the volume is increasing as the market cap is falling. Not a good look. If you kind of zoom in here on the tail end of this, you see that we did get a bit of a bounce here on market cap, which we have done in the past. But obviously, the bears responded with a lower low usually. Now, as we see the market cap rise here on the tail end, we see that the volume actually came down. So every time we go bullish here as far as market cap goes, we see the volume come down. It's not a good look. That's the inverse relationship to what we really want for bullish conditions. When we go up, we want market participation. When we see the market cap show strength, we want volume. We want confirmation with market participation. So in the immediate short term, that is a bit of an issue. Now, if we keep on going down, you can see we're going to scrape through the top 100 first, guys. Then we'll take a look at Bitcoin as the indicator. Then we'll talk about VELODROME, of course. But, getting an idea of what this market is all about at the current moment is pretty interesting because we are getting a dip that maybe could be the last dip before we actually go parabolic here for the altcoin season. We have our capital aligned. We want to make sure that our portfolio is prepared. We want to make sure that our emotions are prepared for what's to come in the next couple of days, because I feel like we could be getting a bit of support here on the lower time frames, maybe on the 4-hour. The daily still looks negative. However, I'm not expecting big retracements here. I'm not expecting massive dips. I'm expecting a healthy correction for a continuation of a bull run. And typically speaking, the retracements are a lot more shallow than we are used to seeing in a bear market. Okay, so we got to understand that. Or even sideways accumulation phases throughout the bear market. So Bitcoin coming down, Ethereum still coming down. The trend is your friend, still making lower lows and lower highs. Now we can see that. Now some getting a stronger response than others, like SUI, massive response for SUI and its ecosystem. Right, a lot of the SUI ecosystem projects right now are doing really, really good. We have Hyperliquid still looking for tons of strength here, up 52% in the last 7 days. Congrats, that's great opportunity there. And as we keep on going down, you can see that generally the market is kind of like, maybe getting a bit of relief, depending more than others, like Aave or even Mantle showing strength. Even on red days, it was showing a pretty good amount of strength. Now, MNT now showing a lot of strength on a recovery, right? So back to structure. And we have Athena showing a lot of strength as well, 26%. But many others, guys, not so much. Like Virtual looking good, but still lower lows and lower highs. So we have to understand that we got to respect the trend. And as long as the trend is making lower lows and lower highs, I am not getting in with a heavy amount of capital. I would love to see a change of character throughout this market, a change of character that would suggest that, we are going to pivot properly. Now, we have some projects, like I said, even Move, looking great here, 20% today, 38 in the last 7 days. It's going against the grain. It's going against the market. It is almost a sign of divergence here. So if you're in Move, congrats, no doubt. But trail up that stop loss, put yourself in profit just in case, because if it does keep on coming down, and Bitcoin continues to show a bit of weakness here and induce more fear into the market, we're going to see a lot of these projects take further dips, okay? And you want to make sure that you can protect those gains and protect your initial investments, right? No doubt. So the market's still bearish. This is a 1 hour fractal, by the way, guys. So keep that in mind. All right, guys, let's jump into some charts. I know you're here to talk about price action. So let's see what's going on here with Bitcoin. Bitcoin got a nice bounce on the daily, nice bounce on the 50 EMA on the daily. Very confluent, very ideal, very typical. However, guys, we're not here for the typical. We're here for the probable. The most probable scenario is that we continue downwards as the daily continues showing us weakness. Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. So as I've been mentioning, guys, in the past, if I am going to take risk in this market and I'm going to be deploying more capital, I want a better opportunity from a risk to reward perspective. Up here, it was very risky. Down here, we get into less risk and obviously levels of which I am interested in deploying capital. Guys, we're almost there. We're almost there. Now, if we look at what's going on with the daily, you can see that the momentum is still shifting to the downside. Let me just make this a bit bigger. Obviously, I just want to use Bitcoin as an indicator because if Bitcoin keeps on shifting to the downside, the momentum keeps on coming down like this, the rest of the market is going to look pretty bad. So we got to take full advantage of that. And the only way to do that is track Bitcoin's influence on the market. And right now, Bitcoin's not giving the market an opportunity. Yeah, we're getting a bit of relief today, but just generally speaking, guys, we're still making lower lows and lower highs. So Bitcoin ultimately in this trajectory, in this path to the downside is not a good look. And you can see that ultimately we began our first dip that came down pretty strong. We have the trend oscillator showing a lot of weakness still. EMA is facing down, and this expansion still very small and looking a little bit slumpy right there. Okay, so that's that. Now, if we go on the 4 hour, we have a bit of a different story. Now, it's not different. It's the same. However, it just shows us more detail, and we can say the story in a little bit more detail. Now, we see that the 4 hours almost reset from a bullish perspective, guys. Like, volatility is almost reset. Now, the momentum could hang out here. Let me just zoom in here for a second. You can see the purple line. Purple line is not, in my opinion, doesn't look like it's ready to leave. We didn't even get any bullish divergence yet. We didn't even get a double bottom here or anything. Like, it's not like we have to, but we didn't get that yet. What we are getting is volatility almost getting to overbought conditions again up here, or even a little bit higher. That's fine. The thing is that once this orange line gets overbought like this into this zone, the probability of a rollover increases again, and we might see the momentum come down for that double bottom. And that double bottom, even though it might make a double bottom or even a higher low up to here, right? It could still make a lower low in the price action, which would give us class A bullish divergence. That's great, but still will make a lower low in the price action. And we have to understand that that's possible. And we're talking about the 4 hour. And the reason why I say there's a lot more possibility of that happening is because the daily is still bearish. This thing is still pushing down. So how can I be bullish on even lower timeframes or permanently bullish on lower timeframes without understanding that the negativity on the daily is still there? So again, let me just kind of clean this artwork up a little bit so we can kind of make sense of it in clarity. What I'm trying to say ultimately is that we could see one of these. We could see a bit of a mean reversion, see the purple line come back up like we've done in the past, and continue coming down for those lower lows. And this little pop to the upside will be based on the 4 hour doing this, what we talked about, getting up to this level. Okay, so this is what I'm concerned with. This is what I would like to, kind of see play out. I want to see that the bears do not have strength to make lower lows. As long as the bears are making lower lows, guys, I am not interested in taking any fresh longs. I want to be very critical at this moment because I want to make sure I can pack my bag at the best price possible. And the only way to do that is be patient to see what happens with momentum and volatility and expansions and generally speaking, the sentiment of the market. Because ultimately, usually the most pain is where we get the best prices. We want to get pain. This is not painful, guys, at all. This is not painful, right? The real pain is down here. Even if we slip below 80, 87, 86, that's very painful. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying, guys, that's where I will be buying heavy, heavy bags. All right. So that's my take on Bitcoin. You can see on the 4 hour, daily, even the 1 hour, to be honest, we're already overbought. Do we come down for oversold and hang down here? Look, lower lows and lower highs. We attempted a higher high here, guys. We didn't get it. So, it's still a lower high. Well, what about if we come down for a lower low? Okay, at least give us a double bottom so we can trade the 1 hour. Up until now, guys, there's nothing. All right, guys, so let's use this as an indicator. If we see this, if we see Bitcoin showing weakness, what does that mean for the altcoin market? So let's take a look at VELODROME Finance. Obviously a project that you should consider if you're bullish on the base ecosystem. And if we look at the daily got a beautiful spike to the upside. Now I want to really get onto the weekly here for a second so we can see what has been happening big picture. This was a great bottom, right? So this was a level to be accumulating, and this was a great entry. Ultimately speaking, if you got in, I bought into this level, and I'm happy with that entry. And you can see here we got a fat spike to the upside with a massive wick. Usually these result in further dips, and of course they're blow off tops. That's what we call them. Now ultimately, again, we're falling through a bit of a volume gap. We touched the bottom of the volume gap pretty much on the cent, which is pretty good. And again, I don't know where we're going to hit this bottom, but I can see that on the weekly we could, continue really bullish here in the immediate short term. I could see that. But what's going on here on the daily? Daily, we're retracing. Momentum got overbought. We are in a good zone, but there is no divergence. We are in a good zone, but you see this beginning of a cross. Maybe it fakes us out and continues bullish. It could be possible. Could be possible. Okay, so I understand if you're bullish on the daily still, just be careful because you can see this expansion not stronger than this expansion, while this price action is stronger than that price action. That's class A bearish divergence, so a bit of a concern there. We also have divergence on the volatility. Look at this volatility, how it did a Uno reverse right here. It didn't even get fully overbought, and it was like, nah, we're coming down. So it came down. Now the question is, how low do we go? Okay, that's the problem. And the daily is not looking that bearish just yet, but it does look really overbought where you don't want to take too much chances. Now, could we get a bit of a bounce here and make a double top or something like that? Kind of do one of these and then eventually break down? It's possible. Could we structure out here and literally get bounces and go sideways a little bit? Why not? That's possible, right? All of that is possible. But at worst case scenario, I think that we come down to about 12.5 cents, right? Why? Because that's the breakout zone. That's where we broke out before. Right into here, all these bottoms, all the tops, all the structure that we got into here. That's where we broke the structure to the upside, from all these nice little rounded bottoms. So we have to understand is the max pain zone is literally in this zone. It should come down here to induce as much pain as possible. And if that's the case, we're coming down to 12.50 to about 12 cents. Okay, so that's that. So we wait for bull flags or structure so we can put a stop loss underneath and expect a continuation. But look at the last time that did that. Impulsed up, went sideways, got structure, and guess what it did? It came straight down and continued rounding off here. Now, the people that put a stop loss underneath here, okay, you took a bit of a loss, but all good, no big deal, right? And I expect to do the same thing. If it's meant to fall, let it fall, guys. Put that stop loss, protect yourself. However, because we are now in a bull run, and we got to understand that these were different times. We're talking about the summer, okay? These were different times. Even this was a bear market. These are different times, guys. Right? We should expect bull flags and continuation patterns to the upside. So this is something that I'm considering. This is why lately I've been dropping into lower time frames, because I want to make sure I catch my bottoms earlier. And I'm okay to start DCAing a little bit earlier, even if the market comes down dips a little bit lower. Why? Because I am confident that we are in a bull run and an altcoin season is around the corner. And eventually my entries will be in profit. Eventually, right? So something to be considered is that we're still making lower lows even on this retracement. We're close to the 200 EMA on the 4 hour. There's no real price action to deal with other than these tops that we're getting there closer to. I feel like we're getting in a zone where we may want to take a bit of risk. The trend, the EMAs are facing down still with no real signs of a reversal yet, but a bit, just a little bit. You can see that they're closing off a little bit, and this is tapering to the upside. It could be around the corner. So VELODROME is not really giving you any major angles here. Even the volatility in the momentum. Look at the momentum. Is it oversold? No. Is it overbought? No. It's in the chop zone. And in fact, it looks very indecisive. So when the momentum doesn't give you an edge, trend doesn't give you an edge, what do? You just look at price action. At the end of the day, guys, there's no edge. Where do you want to buy? You want to buy the levels of liquidity. I like this zone. If we come down here, I'm interested. I also like where we are right now. Buy a little bit of a dip. You're not buying tops. I like this zone right here. Let me just make another arrow. I like this zone right here. Bottom of the volume gap. We have the EMA right there to act as support. We got this level, we got this top and this bottom. I kind of like this. Now, if we structure out here, I would deploy even more, heavier, right? That's the thing. As you build confluence and confidence, well, technically confluence should give you confidence. And as you build that confidence based on the TA, it's okay to start taking more risk, because as the confidence comes in, it's got to be backed by a thesis. And if your thesis gets stronger over time, based on the conditions, based on the data that is provided by the chart, it is okay to increase your risk, because obviously there's a thesis to back it. This is important, guys. So Velodrome is looking okay. The problem is that we're not buying tops, which is great, and obviously we're not buying absolute bottoms, which is not the greatest. But we are in a bull run where, you know, retracements like this are potential good opportunities. Just keep in mind that if we dip and we keep on coming down, the levels that I'm interested in is liquidity zones down here. If we structure out, taking a bit of a risk right here at 17.50, 17 cents, 17 and a half cents is a great zone to consider buying, and then putting the stop loss underneath the structure slightly below it. The market's looking good, guys. Velodrome has a lot of interest at the current moment. I have been scaling in around this level, and ultimately I'm expecting another higher high eventually. The question is when, and the question is, do you have the patience not only to accumulate slowly, but to hold and wait for the volume to kick in eventually? Guys, the base narrative is hot. The market is hot, and ultimately our portfolios should be deployed and be ready to go for when it gets hot again, because really, I know this downturn hurts, but ultimately these are opportunities to take full advantage of. All right, guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor. Slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join that Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Take care, guys. See you tonight at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. And if you have any requests, that's a great time and place to make them. Take care. Have a good one. And don't forget, by the dip.